Hello, my name is Okada, and welcome back to Mechabellum. Today we are going to take a look at the ultimate comeback. In fact, you can see down here the replay saved. Again, unfortunately, I wasn't recording during it. I play a lot of these games just for fun because I enjoy the game, and I don't always record, and sometimes I regret that. This is one of those times. So we're going to look at the match that I just got out of. It is the best comeback I've ever done, and is also an illustration of the new missile intercept item and just how much it can turn a fight. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So first off, those who have watched other videos of mine from Mechabellum will probably be familiar with my love of the supply specialist. That extra 50 supplies every round. It's just so versatile, and it's kind of hard to pass up. Now, I do use other specialists from time to time, but this is really kind of my favorite. Steel balls are kind of nice to have also early on because they're a good tanky unit that someone's going to have to address. Fang gives us some anti-air, though I would prefer Mustangs. Now our opponent is the quick supply specialist, so that's 200 extra supplies that they have to work with over our 50 extra. The first round is usually a loss against a quick supply specialist. They just have more money. They beat you with their wallet. And you gotta accept that and just be kind of prepared. And being aware of that, I kind of toy around a bit with how I'm going to place these. Try and decide, well, what's our most universal kind of defense against the unknown, because there could be a heavy unit coming our way. So I'm going to undecidedly move things around a bit, go with kind of a generic start, and then end up picking up marksman as, again, kind of a generic response to the unknown. I assume that I'll lose this round, but picking up marksman doesn't feel like a waste, pretty much at any point. And then we can pivot from there. So our opponent has picked up storm colors. That was what they used their extra money for. We could have actually done that, though I wouldn't this early on because it's kind of tipping your hand. This is the direction that you're going to go with your army. And this is a losing proposition. We have our unupgraded steel balls driving into a firing line of marksmen. And of course, they have the storm collars that are going to handle all of our chaff. Definitely a poor start, but nothing you would not expect against a quick supply specialist. All right, so we're seeing here that strike specialists and crawlers were both available, so we need to keep that in mind. We're going to go subsidize marksman because we've already started down the marksman road. But knowing that there were two options for kind of a backdoor attack, it's something you really want to pay attention to when the options come up, because your opponent has those options as well. Now, unfortunately, I go a little overboard here with the anti-missile to counter the Stormcallers, and I run myself kind of shy on the money I wanted to have, because I would have liked to have brought in a couple of Mustangs instead, and I just couldn't afford it. So I ended up committing to just moving forward and giving up this round, because I assumed that we were going to either come across crawlers or something on the sides, and I would just deal with it next round. So we have one steel ball that turned around to deal with these. That's not going to be sufficient. Our steel balls run forward, but they spread out. Doesn't do us a whole lot of good. We do get a marksman down there, but there's no way that our units are going to handle all of this chaff and these Mustangs. This is a very bad loss. Half health, only 2 rounds in. So here we're going to pick up speed specialist because, we've got a lot of kind of garbage ground units and steel balls, and if we can get on them a little faster, that's great. Plus, they have all those storm callers, and the faster you are, the harder it is for them to hit. Unfortunately, we lost both of our missile interceptors last round. If you're not familiar with missile interceptors, they're kind of like shields. If they don't get destroyed, they stick around. So I had to replace them. That's pretty expensive. It's really draining our income because we're not, making any progress in our units. And he's still increasing his Stormcaller count. Now you might be thinking we could go Mustang and go Missile Intercept. We are finally going to get our Mustangs in. But the reason I'm bringing Mustangs in, and I had to borrow money to do it, is because I'm getting paranoid about a flanking maneuver. We can't handle a flanking maneuver, which is really, in my opinion, what the opponent should have done at this point. And spend a little extra money here, get some survivability. Our opponent brought down shields, which is pretty tough for us because we don't really have good shield clear. And you can see those missile interceptors are doing really good work. I mean, some missiles get through, but they're dramatically reducing the incoming damage. Now here we get lucky. We lose our last guy just before they can destroy that missile interceptor, so we managed to retain both of them. So that's honestly what we needed. Now, we know the opponent has gone with shielding, so we're going to bring in Stormcallers of our own. Stormcallers are fantastic for bringing down shields. I also noticed that the call-in for the Rhino was available there, which is going to make me a little paranoid about this area back here because we know our opponent likes to attack from the back. That prompts me to bring in some steel balls in preparation for a Rhino in the back line. We're going to bring in one more unit because I want to get Stormcallers from both sides, deal with both shields. And we're going to put our steel balls in the back to prepare for the Rhino. This is entirely a reactionary round. We've bought steel balls for a possible Rhino drop. We've bought Stormcallers specifically for the shields, not for the units that they're protecting. We're attempting to nullify their advantage. Now, the opponent does not actually call in his Rhino. So our Stormcallers are actually doing more work than their Stormcallers because of our missile interceptors. But they have leveled up and they have numbers advantage. So it's kind of a long road. Marksman take out our missile interceptor. That's rough. Alright, so we had one surviving missile interceptor. We are down to 267 health. And parasitic ammo comes up. This is expensive, but how do you pass up parasitic ammo? And seriously, part of the problem that we're having here is, the amount of units that they have. So parasitic ammo is great for distracting their units. So we're going to go ahead and pick it up anyway. We're going to put fire on our Stormcallers. Bring a couple more in. Fortunately, still level 1 because we just can't afford to go level 2 with them. We're going to drop our parasitic ammo on one of our forward Stormcallers. It's not great because we're doing fire, and they're going to be created in fire, but honestly, the units that we're creating from parasitic ammo aren't there to do damage. We just have them there just to distract. We're borrowing money. We're getting more of these missile interceptors down because we just got to control their Stormcallers. So there's another one. And another one there. He's gone crazy with all of these. Look, none of them land. The missile interceptors stop all of the sentry missiles. They earn their pay just from that alone. Shield goes down quick. There goes the other shield. We're finally starting to turn the tide here. Our middle marksman alone has survived his line of marksmen. And the range of these missile intercepts are all the way into their battlefield and are protecting our Stormcallers pretty well. And the first round that we've won, round 5, not by a ton, but it's better for them to lose health than for us. So there's not anything really good here for us. We're going to go ahead and grab the Orbital Javelin. It's pretty expensive for what we're doing because they don't have any, high value targets, and it's a very small area that it hits. But honestly, we're willing to take anything at this point. Anything that we can remove from their field is going to work in our favor. So here we're kind of splitting the damage between getting rid of a marksman and whatever Stormcallers we can hit, which is bonus. We know that some of the Stormcaller shots are getting through the defensive line, and any of them we can reduce is just going to help us out. We're also aware that he is now able to drop both a Rhino and Crawlers, so we're going to prepare for that by bringing in some more Mustang. Every round we've been waiting for that Rhino to come down, and this got me thinking that maybe he was waiting to do both of them at the same time. So we're preparing our backline for overwhelming backline attack. That's most of our money, unfortunately, so we're just going to squeak in a little bit of leveling up. Just get what we can. He did finally bring them in, but he brought him in on his own side. Unfortunately, the fire is working against us a little bit because, friendly fire. You can see our units going down to it, but that's okay. We're winning the late fight for range. Once the fire is gone, if all of our units are gone and all of their units are gone, then we win the range war because we're intercepting their missiles. And as you can see, they brought in an Overlord and immediately given it extended range. And I was really concerned that this was the end for us. We have one surviving marksman. Fortunately, he's not going to be able to get on target. It took long enough for him to attack us because of the parasitic ammo creating units for him to shoot at, that it gave time for our Stormcallers to get in range to distract him from the marksman. Missile strike's free. We wouldn't expect it to make a huge difference, but it's not taking money. As you can see, they are picking up the mothership upgrade and more Overlords. And here, again, we're going for the Stormcallers and just whatever else we can get. And we're doubling down on our Stormcallers. And we're increasing our range because, again, we've noticed that they've moved to Overlords. Finally get our universal attack upgrade. And it's time to just spend some money getting some level ups. We're doubling down on our upgrades for our range on our marksman. We need to make sure that we don't get in range of those Overlords. $50 left over, we'll just level up a Fang. It's more hit points, it survives longer. So unfortunately they shielded again, that ate up our missile, but that's fine. We weren't relying on it. We are a little concerned by the wasp spam, but we have such a range advantage that it's not really a problem. Not yet, at least. And look at all of those missiles that are being intercepted. I cannot stress enough how powerful these missile interceptors are. And last Overlord goes down. We're not doing big damage, but we are surviving round to round. Now, I am not actually a fan of the nuke because it's just too expensive and too slow coming in. But I see this and I know that he has one round left to win. He just has to win any one round and he wins. He's definitely going to go nuke. There's no question about it. So I have to kind of counter that with our own nuke. Didn't want to spend that much money, but the fact is that if he's going to wipe a bunch of our stuff out, we need to wipe a bunch of his stuff out. We're also going to very heavily shield because, again, we assume the nuke. So this whole round is just about the nuke. Ours, his, defending against it. And we're going to get some range upgrade on our Mustangs because we know that he's bringing in all these wasps. That'll also help our Mustangs stay out of the fire longer. And we're going to grab a couple more marksmen because they are what's winning the game for us at this point, because we need, again, to counter the Overlord spam. Definitely get upgrades on our Stormcaller with the parasitic ammo whenever we get a chance. Leveling up everything we can, even steel balls, just for the hit points. We want survivability. Good vantage point here for the nukes. Whoosh! Oh, and look at those Overlords go down. Yeah, shields don't protect flying units. We came out of the nuke mostly unscathed. Our shields did what needed to be done. The Stormcallers are starting to get a few missiles through. And he's largely cleaned up our left side here, but not enough. Our units have such range at this point that we don't have to do much to close on them. We're finally getting him down in the kill zone. More strike specialists coming up, so, you know, continued paranoia about them attacking from behind. And since he's gone so heavy on Overlord, my assumption here is that he's going to try to Overlord in the back line. Which really would have been a good idea. Maybe a double Overlord on one side to try to overwhelm, you know, just a couple of snipers that are on the side. With strike specialists, they'd be in so fast that we wouldn't really be able to respond to them with our existing units. Which is why I'm going to reinforce the sides with a couple of marksmen. I also level up our Mustang here. And they are bringing in more Overlords. So we've also added a couple more anti-missile turrets. Again, we saw last round that there were more missiles starting to get through. And I just want more coverage. Also, the Overlords fire missiles. Our opponent didn't renew their shields, so, you know, that's good for us. I'm assuming that they just didn't have the money. Buying this many overlords isn't cheap. So the ground war ends pretty quickly in fire, just like it does always. Fortunately, at least, you know, with our extended range on our Mustangs, some of them were surviving a little bit. All that little extra bit of damage is going to help with the spam of the wasps. And our marksmen are such long range now that they're able to take out the storm callers with ease. And that turns it enough for us to win the fight. Man, that was a crazy, intense fight. Talk about a comeback. These missile interceptors were MVP. I absolutely won the game because of these missile interceptors. And I don't know why our opponent didn't do the same. You know, they only cost 100 apiece, and as long as they don't get destroyed, they stick around. Again, they act like shields, right? They don't have to be destroyed for you to win or for the opponent to win. So once all your units are gone, the round ends, and they stay around if they weren't destroyed. The same goes for shielding. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like on your way out and consider subscribing because there will be more Mechabellum content in the future. So thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in a future episode. If you enjoyed this, you may want to check out one of these other videos, and thank you very much for your time.